Well, there is a massive shift of energy that's happening this week. So, welcome to the Medium channel and thanks for being here so we can dive in and talk about this. So, if you're watching this live, welcome. If you're watching this as a video, you're just as welcome, but it may not be Sunday morning at 11 Eastern Time. And welcome to the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message to help you to awaken. So what we're going to do, we do a meditation card. We do a 3-card spread to kind of give us a heads up for the week. What energies are out there that are affecting us individually, as a community, as a group, as well as what's going on in the world out there that's affecting us in here. So we do that. We have our meditation card. We have other divination tools, angel cards, Native American tarot. We have a lot of fun with different forms of divination, all for the aim to help to keep us enlightened, to keep us on top of things, to stay ahead of the energetic storms that's affecting the planet, that's affecting society, so we can live, learn, love, grow, and thrive in this 2022 to 2023 time period that we're in. So I'm going to give live people just another minute or two to get their notifications to come in, and then we're going to dive right in today. So, I see we're talking about snow. Who's in from Buffalo? What's the name of the town that always gets hit with the snow? The Buffalo, just south of Buffalo. I think Orchard Park got like 77 inches. Hamburg, that's the one I'm thinking of. Hamburg. It's always Hamburg that gets slammed. And I used to spend a fair amount of time in Western New York, and I did psychic fairs out there in the Buffalo area. And I had a good friend there at the time, so I had a place to stay. And that lake effect snow, you'd be driving along, it's sunny, it starts to get cloudy, all of a sudden you hit a wall of white and the white out, then the roads are snow covered all of a sudden, and there's cars strewn on the side of the road that drove off the road. It's crazy. So guys in Western New York and anywhere, because we're coming to the winter season, if it's snowing and the road is starting to look like it's disappearing in white, slow down. And snow squalls are terrible. That's where we get all those pileups. All right, so anyway, enough talking about the weather. Hi, Susan, and hi, instead the girl. In Stealth Girl. Oh, cool. Okay. Hi. Welcome. Anybody that's new, feel free to say hi. Let us know where you're from. Hi, Claire. Hi, MT. And Jody's in. And Michael's in. Hi, Michael. And Lisa and Susan. I think I saw her in also. And Coyote Candle. So my fellow inmates are here. Welcome. Beautiful winter day in November. This will be a cold day in January here, and it's November. So that's the weather. Don't get. MT saying don't tailgate. Yeah, don't tailgate. A few feet in Western New York. Yeah, that's the nature of lake effect snows. Like one area, 77 inches. What I heard in Orchard Park. Where the Buffalo Bills play. Although they're not playing a home game today. Imagine that they had to go to Detroit. Another snowy city. But anyway, such is it. So I think we're all in. Who's going to be here live? And so why is there such a massive shift in energy? Because we're going from Scorpio season to Sagittarius season, and what's going on is that today's the 20th, so the 22nd is when the sun generally goes into Sagittarius. Now, Mercury had been in Sag for like 3 or 4 weeks, or in Scorpio, I mean. That went into Sagittarius, so did Venus. And then on is it Wednesday? Right on the new moon. Yeah, I think it's on Wednesday or right around that time. Jupiter, Sagittarius's ruling planet, goes direct. So Jupiter's station. So the powers of Jupiter are very strong right now. When planets station, they have extra power because they kind of stay camped out in the same area. I mean, it's an energetic thing, but during the Scorpio transits, things tend to be, it's, Scorpio energy is very powerful. It's really about like evolution, and it tend to be secretive, so it tend to be more like, Pluto. It's more like the underworld. It's what's going on beneath the surface. A lot of power is rising, but Sagittarius brings things into the light. Sagittarius is about truth, and what I feel is going to happen is that some truths are going to start to emerge. We've been talking about this for a very long time, and we've been talking about the period from November, which we're in right now, through the winter and into the spring, as being kind of the hub of the big changes that are going on in the earth and in society. Well, we're here now, and December could be a very interesting month, and I'll do a psychic forecast like I always do in the beginning of the month. I don't know what date we're going to do that yet. Hold on one sec. We need to do a little bit of house cleaning here. Okay, I think we're good. And anyhow, where was I? Yes, that was a little bit of a scorpionic energy that just kind of slipped in. But we're moving to Sagittarius season now, so we honor the truth. We honor transparency. Jupiter is, Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, but that's where we get the word jovial from. So, yeah, so this is good times on that respect, and yeah. So what's going on? Yeah, there's anyway, you know what? Let me just jump into tarot. That's what we're here for anyhow. So I'm gonna do that. So let's do a meditation card. I might sneeze. So if I do, excuse me. Yeah. I must be hitting the big time if the bots are finding my live streams. Oh my goodness. All right. So I hope everybody is doing well. Like I said, this week, big transitions of Scorpio to Sag energy. In astrology, it's not like one's better or one's worse. So, but like I said, Scorpio tends to keep things sort of a little bit hidden and secretive, and Sagittarius is kind of the opposite energy. Like, here I am. This is the news. It can also bring good luck and good fortune. So, there's been things going on with the economy, right, that people have been talking about for a while, and things going on with a digital vaccine passport that's been coming out and sort of filtering out into the news a little bit with the G20 summits and everything. Of course, if you've been following us, not just here on the Medium channel, but on my social media, you know that March 2020, before the first cases came in, we gave you a forecast about how these events were going to play out. General, but very accurate at the same time. So we did tell you that by, I think we said December 2020, there'd be an experimental vaccination available, and that actually got rolled out in January. So that was only a month off. You have to understand this was before the first, allegedly the first cases were here in the U.S. And at that time, we told you basically that this is what's going to happen. They're going to, not central. Well, yeah, kind of centralize things. I mean, that tends to be the end games of these, global events, anyways. Kind of centralizing the power and so forth. And then we have the G20. That's basically centralization of different governments to try to mandate rules that affect the whole planet. So the ruling, or what they're trying to do is have the digital vaccine passport. So, for international travel, you would need that. And, we gave you the heads up, over 2 years ago that that's what was going to happen. It's kind of the pharmaceutical companies, the big tech, these big companies are connected with those powers that are centralizing government. And, during this whole process, the rich and the powerful have got more rich and more powerful. Meanwhile, we're struggling with inflation leading to recession. So anyhow, yeah, I figured that bringing that up would bring out a few comments here. Uh, so we're saying resist, stay in your power, stay in your heart, and that's really been the message all along, is to stay in the heart, and that is the eye of the storm. And because it's all programming. When we feel fear, we're being pulled out of the heart. Basically, we're being pulled into our subconscious survival instinct to be very hyper vigilant in what's going on in the physical world around us, at the expense of the connection with our own heart, with our own divinity, with our connection to spirit, God, and source. And I don't believe that's by accident. I do believe that that's by design. And I hear different things from different sources and different people. So what I like is to kind of look at everything. Some of it is BS, some of it is more credible, and really find the commonalities. Like what are they kind of all saying? Where's all of these, whether they're conspiracy theories, or whether they're more people that understand the inner workings of politics, or whatever it is. What I want to see is where the trends are, like what different schools of thoughts and different ideologies, what what what's the same about what they're saying, and that to that. So what's Michael saying? We could have. I'll just show this for a second. I don't think they're going to be able to do that, but that would be consistent with the energies and the forecast from December. Also, I did a anybody wants to check back, last December I did a whole year forecast. I'll do that again at, towards New Year's this year for 2023. And December was a very active month of the year. I have to check back to see what I said back at that time. But and things, about like the banking systems, all that stuff was coming out, and it's leading into a lot of challenge over the winter. Now I have to say, everything's fluid, and we pick up on what we pick up on. Honestly, from what I see anyway, the elections were not quite the shit show I thought they would be. Then again, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We were only privy to a very fraction of the information, or what really happened. But all things considered, with the astrology or whatever, things seem to move along or whatever. And November was slated to be a very dicey month. I mean, it has been, but maybe not as bad as what I thought it could be. So this is good. And this has kind of been the trend of these earth changes, and I always say, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, still prepare for food shortages. They are here. What degree that's going to come or happen, how far that's going to go, we don't know. But so far, I can't speak for the whole country, but in the Hudson Valley and the Catskills where I live, I mean, a little inconvenience. You have stores shelves a little bit empty, but not a big deal yet. But prices are higher, and that's what's going to happen, is that prices will keep going up with food as things happen. So anyhow, we could go on and on about all this stuff. There's what is it, COP27 going on about the climate and what's going to be mandated. And sure, global warming, let's slow that down. Absolutely, that's a great idea. But is there an agenda behind that? That's what people need to dig a little bit deeper to see what's really going on. And there's still farmers that are demonstrating, protesting, rioting, even. Um, see what is decided in this latest event, and how that's going to affect people. Like, for example, private farmers, for example, they may not be able to afford the upgrades, as it were, in order to save the environment and stuff like that. So what happens when these smaller farmers go under? They get taken over by bigger corporations. Anybody know who Bill Gates is? Um, whatever reason, that name just happened to pop up in my head. But no correlation or anything like that. But that said, see, what's the game, like what's going on? And anyhow, I thank you, MT, for sharing that. I like this kind of interactive forum. Uh, Agenda and the lie. So thank you. And I agree to some degree. I mean, I do believe that the world really is getting warmer. I do, because I'm a meteorologist. You see, I graduated in 1980. I didn't really follow that path, but one of my big papers in the late 1970s was about global warming, and the models back then are actually panning out now. Could this be because this is part of a grand plan of weather modification and control for a whole agenda to control people? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that there are certain things that are going on with CO2 level rises, temperatures are warming or whatever. So best case scenario from where I'm sitting is it's being exploited. It's real, but being exploited for selfish ends. We'll put it that way, for this select few to benefit at the expense of the great many. So you can use your imagination what a worst case scenario that might be, if that makes any sense. So an ionosphere heater, all until we know the truth, all theories, are plausible as far as I'm concerned. I want to say, I will say that on that subject, that weather modification is a thing. It has been a thing, since the 1950s. Actually, it's not even new. It's just more sophisticated now. Crocus is blooming in Germany. Oh, welcome. Yes, weather controlled. Yes. QS. All right. So I get you guys. I can't keep up with you guys. So let's go back to talking about tarot. I'm sorry that I digress a little bit, but it's all part of it. This is the world we live in. We're a conscious community. It's good to talk about these things, and it's good to understand what's going on. So anyhow, okay, so this is the card that they pulled me to for our meditation card. So we got another major arcana. That's a trend when we do meditation cards, because this comes from spirit, not me. The world card is an interesting card. It's key 21. I'm in my 21 year numerology, so I'm in the world card energy right now, and so the idea is get a. Let me see. How's autofocus today? Not really working. Okay. My technology is a daily adventure. I do yearly forecasts as part of my work, and I did one, and then the computer just kind of took it away. So I guess I have to redo that person's. So anyhow, so get nice and relaxed, like any meditation. It's an exercise in presence and mindfulness. So get very mindful and present of your breath, your body, and have a mental snapshot. If you have your own cards, use that. If not, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. You're welcome to take a mental snapshot of the world card. This is the final card of the major arcana. Although technically the major arcana is a circle. It's not linear. So technically the Fool card is both the first and the last card of the major arcana of the tarot, but the world is the last number card. So the Fool card is key 0, and the world card is key 21, and there's 22 major arcana card, and 76. This would be an example of a minor arcana card that has the suits and the numbers and everything. This one's the 5 of Pentacles. No, nothing's random. A lot of people are worried about money. A lot of people are worried about being left out in the cold. So to me, I pulled this card as a reminder that it's always warm in your heart. No matter what's going out there, go within the heart and find that eye of the storm. Find that inner warmth, that inner sanctuary. And that's how you connect to spirit, is through the heart. And once you make that connection, then you become a beacon of light. And you can't be programmed. We're talking a lot about programming, like false, what is it, fear, false evidence appearing real. We had a little debate about global warming. What do you guys think about that? Is that real, or is that a fear tactic, false evidence appearing real? Now, personally, I do think that the world is warming. I do think that human activity has something to do with it. So I'm kind of, maybe being a typical Libra, I'm kind of like a moderator in this whole thing, because I also recognize the technology behind things like that and the agendas behind things like that. And I think it's perfectly fine to question whether it's real or not. Honestly, just based on, know thy history, know what's going on in the world. So anyway, somehow the world card is getting me to talk about all this stuff. But anyway, so the overall picture's coming in great. Thank you. They use DEW to make wildfires out west too. I guess we're doing this half conversation and half tarot, because that's true, and there had been a marked propensity for food store units to somehow catch fire, in the West in certain states. Anyways, I could go on and on. So, sorry, I just leaned over my microphone and said so. That was probably loud. Step into the world card. When you get into your meditation and you relax, in your mind, step into the card and look at the whole scene. When you step in, how does that feel? So gauge your feelings. We connect with spirit through our sense of being able to feel. Again, back into the heart. The heart is the eye of the storm. The heart cannot be programmed. It's the subconscious mind gets programmed, not the heart. The heart knows love. The heart knows spirit. That's the heart's function. It's the center of our chakra system, the center of our spiritual being, and the root chakra of our oversoul or higher self. So basically, our spiritual self meets our physical reality in the heart center. So if you can be in that center, you can be in the realm of spirit, that place where you are all powerful because you are connected with the source of everything. Remember this, especially when things get hot and heavy, or you're feeling the pressures of society, or the weight of the world, or whatever. Stepping into the heart for a few minutes, breathe from the heart, feel compassion, gratitude, and love. Let that expand through your body. Let that activate your brain. That's called heart-brain coherence. For those that don't know, since I talk about that every live stream, that's what that is. And once the heart and the brain sync, then you have your two master organs, your two master energy centers, and your organs too, your heart and your brain, syncing as one, because they are one. The heart actually has brain cells, or one form of brain cells in it. They really are connected. Science is proving that. So that's the idea. So step into your heart, step into your power, then step into this card and see what you see. Ask spirit for messages, and it's the world card itself can be a completion. It can be a happy, completion of energy. It's also Saturn ruled, even though it's the world and it's the earth. It's technically Saturn ruled in tarot. So there are many two there, but many. Yeah. I can't keep up with your conversation. I know you're having a good one. So let's do a 3-card spread. The Sunday world. So anyways, everybody good? No questions about how to meditate with cards? The Truman Show. Oh boy, yeah. This is where spiritual community comes in. One of the other things that we've been talking about for a while, other than what was going to happen, that is happening with vaccine passports and all this other stuff. One other thing, and I just lost my train of thought. That means I need some water. I need to slow down a little bit. Somehow, anyways, you hear the cards shuffling. They are indeed shuffling, yes. Yeah, that's why spiritual community is important. That's what I was saying before. Okay, so this will be, really tapping into the week that follows. I kind of seeing things with the Federal Reserve. I know that there's been problems with that and investments and everything, stuff like that. So let me just clear my mind a second. I've got to be out of my thinking mind so that Spirit can guide me correctly. This one. What did we get to? We got 2. Okay, so we're actually doing 4 cards rather than 3 today. But when I pull 2 cards as one, I kind of read them as one card. So the 2 in the middle, this is the Lover's card reversed, and the 3 of Swords is really kind of blending the energy of one card. Then we have the 5 of Pentacles, and as leading into the week, and the 6 of Wands, which is about victory after strife, leaving. Now, this is tapping into somebody's, we have 33 live. We get, average about, 200 to 250 viewers on Tarot Time. I'm going to say that more than one of you are having some decisions that may involve like a romantic situation or some kind of personal partnership. But there's definitely some choice about should I stay or should I go, from what I'm seeing in the cards, I want to say. And I think it's a general statement for this community. We may be called upon to really act on our ascension process. Like, in other words, as we grow spiritually, and spiritual growth is really decreased because you're already spirit. So growing spiritually is kind of shedding away like all the programming, all the negative, the things that obstruct us from knowing who we are as God or spirit, basically. But I think people are going to be needing to make decisions, because as you're evolving and growing, people around you may not be evolving in the same way, or you may be kind of waking up and stepping out of illusion and realizing that the situation that you're in is no longer working for you, whether it's your personal partner or your spouse, or whether it's your job or career or whatever it is. I think this is going to involve a lot with friends and partners. So, I think a couple of you may be kind of thinking about that or having that situation. Now, with the 5 of Pentacles, 5 is often about change. 5 is often about freedom. In the picture, we have people out in the cold, but this one has a bandage over the head. There's been some kind of emotional or psychic wounds, and the feeling that I'm getting with this is that the only reason that they're out of the cold, because this is like, in some decks, this is like a church also, and it's warm. It's cold and warm here, and they're out in the snow. They're cold. They're freezing. They look destitute also. Sometimes it's a choice. So sometimes we have to really find the abundance of being, or the abundance of life within our heart and within our center. So it's like their heads are turned, so they're not really even seeing like the other alternative. And don't let this happen to you. Like don't let yourself get into such a fear based mentality, because of what you're hearing or what you're seeing or experiencing, that you become unaware of all the good and possible other alternatives in your life to turn things around. So, this is part of the whole Sagittarius Jupiterian energy. And it comes out of Scorpio. Like Scorpio brings us deeply in touch with our inner emotions and our inner truths, but they tend to stay inward. But Sagittarius tend to bring that energy out. So this is a time to really, discover and dive into your own truths, basically. And part of the truth is that, you may have known the answers all along, but because of the way we've been led, the way we've been programmed, even though it's in plain sight, it's hidden. And I think that's the shift that a lot of people are starting to experience. It's like we knew this, like I knew this all along, that kind of a thing. And um, and so I think that that's part of the meaning with that. And the lovers, this is the sign Gemini. Now Mars is in Gemini. It's been in Gemini since, where's Sharita when you need her? Since August, I think. And it stays until, gosh, it's 7 months in sign Gemini. Mars is currently retrograde. Now, lovers could be, it could be literal, but and also with the Three of Swords, because that's about separation. So again, these two cards are kind of, they came out together. And I think part of this is, we have to decide, what we're going to separate ourselves from. Sometimes this will come up if there's heartache, if there's, pain and suffering. And unfortunately, that's the reality. But the good news is that that growth, seldom happens without some pain and some separation and some suffering. It's all part of the evolutionary process of growth. So I think a lot of people are going to be feeling a lot of stuff. So, threes expand and grow. I don't remember the deacons of all the card, but this one's Saturn and Libra. This one I do remember. And Saturn is often about lessons. Libra's about the balance, and it's also the relationship sign. So there's a lot. It's okay. This is a good time to release stuff. We're coming into a new moon. We're in the dark of the moon right now. This is a good time to get in touch with our innermost feelings, even if there's some pain, even if there's some challenge there, because either it's going to stay hidden and rule your life from the inside out, or you're going to access it, you're going to process it, and you're going to be able to release and not be, what's the right word? Controlled by unresolved emotion or things that you're not willing to look in. Again, I talk about this a lot too, but we're part of our programming in the society is that our fear of like pain and discomfort gets exploited. Basically, I mean, that's a natural survival instinct. But when we have a spiritual growth, it's a death of consciousness and a rebirth of consciousness. So it can be painful. It can be challenging. It can be troubling. So we have to learn how to be okay with discomfort. And growth just isn't going to happen without that. So, these are things that we have to be aware of. And if we can do all this, if we can go deep, if we can access things, if we can release things, if we can be okay with separation and trust in spirit, trust in ourselves, that if we do the right things, we're always going to be taken care of. Because sometimes people are reluctant to separate. It's like, if it's a romantic situation, what if I never find love again? Well, you are love, so you find it only in one place. And then if you do that, you attract the right partner that matches that frequency of love. Or like, what if I make a mistake, or what if I'm misjudging it, or whatever? You got to follow your heart, and you got to be able to access it. So going deep, using the last of the Scorpio energy, go deep. It's the dark moon. That's where we can really access our deepest emotions, those things that may have been for this entire lifetime or maybe many lifetimes has been an issue that's been negatively impacting your life. So what happened when we suppress traumas? They don't go away, they just vibrate at a deeper level, and that vibration, it's not conscious, but it's going out in the world. It's helping to create your reality. And people get very frustrated. I do my affirmation, I do the law of attraction, I've been doing this a long time, it's not working. But most people haven't reprogrammed. Most people haven't accessed that deep core of pain because we're programmed to avoid pain. So got to work on that, basically. And if we do, we get to the Six of Wands. That's the victory. He's got the laurel here. He's kind of riding off, not into the sunset, but the sun is there. And he's got his helpers here. So, I think a lot of us are going to have in this week, in this time period, a little bit of a dark night of the soul. So my suggestion is, if that happens, try to be in your heart, try to be present, try to breathe through it. Long, deep breathing is a very simple and useful tool where you just inhale and feel the love and light of the universe all around you, inhaling that into your heart, expanding your frequency, and exhaling and consciously releasing other people's energies, like the dark agendas, the fear-based tactics of the media, all this stuff. You can do that. So that is what it's showing. Now, on the other hand, there may be some kind of shocking news about somebody stepping down, whether it's a political figure. Incidentally, I may as well mention this now, but I'm going to talk about this a little later on. I was doing some work or meditation, and I got a clear image of Hillary Clinton in my mind. And I tend to keep an eye on that one. I don't know if it's because of a health thing or something, but that's what I thought. So, she may go through some kind of a health, crisis. I'm kind of also flashing back. I think it's even for the month of October, not even November. I was getting a symbol like of an American flag on the lawn, and then there being a military or national like event. It looked like a funeral. So it didn't happen. I thought somebody was going to pass on in October, important in the government. It didn't happen. So it's just more of a symbolic thing. So we may be seeing kind of a process that actually started in October, if my timing was accurate, where there's like a death of our system of government, or USA's in its Pluto return. Pluto's about near-death rebirth experiences. So I think that was your spirit's way of saying that the process has begun. The unsustainable systems, what's wrong with the country may be getting addressed, and hopefully what's right with the country gets gets what's the right word? Recalibrated, for lack of a better word, right now on a Sunday morning when I didn't sleep. I'll add that also. So that's basically what I feel about that. I think the main thing is that it's showing, especially up through Wednesday, because that's when the new moon is. The next 3 days, do a lot of that inner work. Get very present. Get into your heart, and maybe set the intention that you're doing that. Like I want to access anything that's I'm not conscious of, but that's interfering with my health, my well-being, my relationships, my financial, my life, because and it's all energy, and we're only 5% conscious or less. I mean, as you start to develop spiritually, that increases. Like a good example is that most people suppress things that they don't want to see. The ego penetrates the subconscious. People that have selective memory, right? Stuff like that. And we suppress our pain and trauma in the subconscious, so we don't have to look at it. But I've done enough spiritual work where I've dissolved those barriers, so I don't have that luxury anymore. Not that I want it, but that's a good example. It's like like, of course, we all have a subconscious and we have a super conscious in it or whatever, but that level of subconscious, which is the storehouse of pain and trauma, we don't need that anymore, and it's a luxury that I'm happy to do without. So it's like if I act in a way that's self-sabotaging, I'm conscious of it, which is a beautiful thing. It's a good thing, rather than unconscious of it. And then I can understand why, why did I act this way? Why did I say this? Why did I do this? Because it's not going to come to any good. And then maybe I can access some troubling childhood stuff or past life stuff or whatever. But anyway, so I see you guys are commenting. Nice. One nation under blackmail. Oh, thank you, Claire, for that. Yeah, thank you for your comments, everybody. Yeah, well, relations are coming to an end. Yeah, that I don't know. Natasha, if you missed the beginning part, but yeah, we talked about that some of us on an individual level and as well as a collective level in this community, we may be ending relationships because as we grow and evolve, our partners may not be in that same light anymore. So anyway, it's part of the spiritual growth process. And I think behind that we have to be okay with being alone. Like I was saying, we have to be okay with pain and discomfort. If we're wanting to grow spiritually, we have to absolutely be okay with being alone, because that desire to have to be in a partner, to have somebody, can get exploited also. And it does get exploited. The fact is that you're never alone. You're always connected to spirit and source. We're never alone. It's like I live alone. I live, I'm surrounded by state land. I feel very lucky because of that. I mean, I'm right by a village, so I'm not like in the sticks. I'm near, I'm not far from Woodstock and Phoenicia, New York, but I never feel alone. It's like my idea of a partnership. I've had, two amazing long-term relationships, two marriages. They ended for one reason or another, but they were both amazing and they were both very different. So it's kind of like, I'm okay to be single. I'm okay to be in a relationship, but I love myself and I am love. And that's the main thing. And by the way, if you missed my Thursday upload, it's all about conscious spiritual relationships and what's the same versus what's changed in this new earth environment. So we have to be okay with being alone. Otherwise, we are very susceptible to making the wrong choices in relationships and suffering as a result of that, and diminishing our power as a result of that. So we absolutely have to be okay with that. That's my opinion, but that's that. Oh, somebody's saying he is dangerous. Ah, God, I'm missing so much good stuff. Mystic. Who's dangerous? Wait a second. Who's dangerous? Anyway, let's do a Native American card also. Let's see how tarot time. Trump is. So we're talking about Donald Trump. Okay. I think they're all, honestly, I think that they're all scary, but that's my take. All right. Yeah, I didn't even talk about Donald Trump. We'd be here all day if we open up that can of worms. So anyhow, this is the card they want. We got the Trapper, the Two of something, the Two of Swords, I think this is. So this is the Native American card. We were just talking about relationships. It's interesting. And we were just talking about, like, what we were just talking. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but the trapper, don't get trapped. Again, how can you get trapped if you have a subconscious thing where you need to be with somebody? You don't need to find somebody to define love. You are love. And when you own that, and when you become the love that you wish to attract in a relationship, then you attract that love. But if it's if anything's corrupt in that, that's what you'll attract. Like, well, I need to find somebody. It's like, and then you find needy people. That's what the universe is hearing. For to be put of or out of government. I think Joanne is saying, yeah, you know. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your comments. Very, very well thought out comments. Now he's also in snowshoes. He's traversing the snow. So I always look at these little cues in this card. He's got a pelt or an animal around him, and there's the two pipes, and so I think what it's saying is that we got to just keep on our journey, basically, and you recognize who our allies are, who are our friends, and who are not our friends. The old adage, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It's good to know who they are, what they are, and so forth. And as we go forward, this health, the animals with the Native Americans, that animal can sustain this man for quite a while because they don't waste anything. They'll use the pelts for warmth. They may even do something with the bones to build things or to make things. They dry the meat, so there's no waste with the Native Americans. Like, I'm not a huge fan of hunting, for example, and shooting animals. However, the way the Native Americans hunt, I'm all in on that because they're honoring the spirit in the animal. They're honoring that we are of nature. In nature, one animal eats another animal. That's part of the cycle of nature. That's part of the reality that we are in right now. So with that in mind, honoring the spirit, giving gratitude and thanks. Thanksgiving's coming up. This is our time of gratitude. By the way, Thursday, there's no upload on Thanksgiving. So I think at 1:00, we're going to do a gratitude heart brain transmission from the Master Teacher's live here. And interesting what MDR is saying, because that was one of the things that my conjectured when I got that image in October, that I say, watch Bill Clinton. I was thinking, I think that he might pass on. It didn't happen, at least not in the time frame that I thought it might. But it's interesting that you're saying that, because I agree. Last thing is Sagittarius and the needy. Well, yeah, that's true. I miss my ascendant is Sagittarius, so that's right. Yeah. Need a pain warehouse. We don't need a pain warehouse. I'm thinking of Eckhart Tolle and the pain body. He talks a lot about that, and I think it's The Power of Now. It may be the New Earth. One of those two books, and how that's basically like we create our own pain body, but we're not conscious of it. So I want to, what? Let's do our totem animal card also. All right. I got to switch these decks up. I've been using the same decks for months now. Spear slapping at me, saying, yeah, it's because that's what you want to do. All right. Alligator. Interesting. Alligators have thick skin, right? But alligators have very soft underbellies. Interesting. Interesting analogy, especially how it flows into what we're talking about. Let me see what the book is saying about alligator. This is Jamie Sams and David Carson's the medicine cards. I'll have to put this down. I thought maybe I would pull turkey, but I didn't. We'll talk about turkey on Thanksgiving. We'll talk about turkey medicine then. God, where is this? 47, 49. Interesting. We got key 49 last time, which was the salmon. Now we got key 50, which is the alligator. Integration. Well, that's what we needed. We need integration, right? Because when we're in trauma, our soul parts get scattered into the four winds, basically. And then when we start to become whole again, we start to gather back our soul parts. That's when that happens, we remember trauma. When we remember trauma, it loses its power because it's no longer a subconscious thing that's controlling you. It's now a conscious thing that you can look at, you can understand, and you have the choice of what you want to do about it. But when it's not conscious, you don't have a choice because you're not aware, right? So so the little poem here says, alligator, let me drop my judgments, accepting life with grace, so that forlorn care and worry will vanish from my face. Let me integrate each moment, digesting life with ease, counting all my experiences as equal opportunities. And when things are on and firing and tarot time, there's always this continuity. It's the same message explained in different ways. Counting all my experiences as equal opportunities, and including the pain, including the suffering, as well as including the elations. And in one of the Wicca witchcrafts, one of the sayings, I think it's from the Charge of the Goddess, but something about like at the end of your greatest ecstasies, as well as your deepest despairs, that's where you'll find me. And that's like the goddess, that's the female, god, obviously goddess. That's part of her creed, part of that. And in other words, when we're in these really intense moments in life, we have that opportunity to shift. And sometimes from the depths of sorrow can come the most amazing insights and the most amazing positive experiences, as well as to the heights of ecstasy. So, part of the message that I'm getting from this whole thing, with the alligator and what this is leading to is that, to understand, that duality, there's a purpose to it. It's not like duality is a bad thing. It's just that we have to be able to understand the oneness behind the duality, and I think that once we understand that then we start to open up and blend more with spirit. So it's kind of like you have these two opposites, the depths of despair and the heights of ecstasy, yet they can lead you to the same place. And in meditation practice, you can go into a deep theta, which is a very low brainwave frequency, or you can go into gamma, which is an extremely fast brainwave frequency. And either of these states can bring you closer to God, closer to spirit, but they're opposites. So, these are things, to understand. When I have a gamma experience, it's amazing. Sometimes that happens when I do my heart-brain coherence. When I lock in just right and I get that tremendous head rush, sometimes I get the colors and the bright light and spirits tapping my head as I'm talking, saying, that's us. But the point being is that it's through the same practice. It's going to a very opposite, but it can lead to the same place. Anyway, I think that makes sense. It does to me anyways. Hopefully it does to you guys. So I have my my sacred geometry cards. Thank you to Amy from Elevated Intuition, Spirituality, and Tarot channel on YouTube. So she gave me these for a gift. After calling me her favorite Libran. So it was a birthday gift. All right. There we go. So this is the card they drew me to. This is Cosmic Flower, number 18. 18 is 9 ruled and is Mars energy, just as a little numerology. It's also the moon card in the tarot. Very beautiful. Yes. Let me read what it says here. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So here, the autofocus is pretty good today. So just again, meditate on this card, some deep breaths, and just let the energy of the colors and the sacred geometry just kind of flow within you and around you. And this is going to help you to remember who you are, where you're from, where is home recently. This gives me an opportunity for another shout out and plug, because to me, home is somewhere there, basically. Whether it's a different dimension or plane, or a different planet. I definitely own being a star seed. I also own being an old soul. So there's different kinds of star seeds. There's the new souls that are directly from, like, the Pleiades or Arcturus or whatever. And then there's those of us that have been here lifetime after lifetime, but we're from somewhere else, but we're working in the earth vibration in several. So the plug-in would be for a young lady who's really quite amazing, named Lily Nova, and her channel is Lily Nova Starseed. And we're going to have her talking about stuff about extraterrestrials and about being a starseed and what that means on December the 6th. So that's going to come up in a couple of weeks. And one last thing, I wanted to do an angel card, and then we'll break for the day. And I'm running out of room on my table. I know I was Japanese in another lifetime, because my table, basically what I do is I either kneel or sit. I don't use chairs. I just have low tables, and that's how I feel comfortable. This is a coffee table, apparently, but it's only about 18 inches high. Okay, I'm thinking. I have to stop thinking. Okay, that's better. Now I got the right card. And this is the angel message from Doreen Virtue's Messages from the Angels. Keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miracles, solutions, miraculous solutions to appear. And I just did a post, just before I came on, about the law of assumption, which is a branch of law of attraction that Neville Goddard really brought to light. Somebody very, very much ahead of their time, I must say, because he was active in the 60s and 70s, and I don't know, well, he passed about 50 years ago. So 60s, 50s, and 60s, talking about law of attraction and how to attract money. And basically, if you assume something's going to happen. Now, I know some of you are thinking odd couple, right? ASSUME. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I'm not talking about that kind of assuming, but when you assume like what you desire is happening, it's going to happen. When you really own that and really know it, then you open up that portal to miracles. But conversely, if you want something, it has the opposite effect. And it's a real fine line of difference. But if I want something, I'm kind of putting the energy out there that I'm separate from it, and I'm creating distance that way. Doesn't mean you can't get what you want. It just means you're making it harder, basically. And if you're really obsessively wanting something, you're pretty much putting it out of reach. And when I do my tarot reading, sometimes it drives me crazy, because I get predictions for certain months and it doesn't happen, and then it's later, and each time the person gets a reading, it's showing the same information, but later in time. And I try to tell the person, you got to stop wanting and needing it. Again, I mean, I could be wrong, right? But my sense of that is that they're kind of pushing the timelines ahead. So assuming that you have something's not wanting, it's kind of like just really feeling like I already have it. It's like when I started this channel, it's 2 years old. It's like I already knew it was going to be a major channel on YouTube. I mean, in physical reality, with my 4,000 subscribers, it's still we're still a tiny hub in the vast YouTube universe. But I know that this is going to be. I know that this is a major channel, because I know that this is one source of information that people can go to get honest, accurate, and humble information, basically, that doesn't have an agenda associated with it other than I want to awaken. I want to help my community to awaken also. So anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. So Thursday, Thanksgiving, 1 p.m., we're going to do a transmission for heart expansion and gratitude, because it's our day where we honor the turkey. The turkey's the giveaway. So we give of our heart, give freely of our heart, and then we receive freely from the universe. Some people have a hard time receiving. Other people have a hard time giving. We want to be able to do both with grace, and gratitude. So we're going to do that. So no upload this week. We'll resume that in December. I think the 1st is the next Thursday. And trying to see any other guests. I'll pin this, but check out the live interview that I did with Elaine Malloy, who's an arch healer, ancient rainbow conscious healing. That's old system. It draws its roots from Hawaii. Great interview, beautiful, beautiful lady, powerful healer. You definitely want to check out what she has to say. This is a very good week for healing. That's what one of the things that was saying, especially on an emotional or a heart level. So let's do that. And when we see each other next Sunday, let's be stronger, more confident, more positive, and better than we were today. And I love you. Thank you. And we're all going to be okay. Yeah, we all signed up for this, and we are here to make a difference in this world for many, many, many generations to come. So thank you for being here. Thank you.